Last week, we promised to show you how to better understand your customer experience. To do that, the best place to start is actually where most people mistakenly believe customer experience starts, which is in the service delivery portion of your organization. Now, to understand your customer experience, you really need to draw on your customer's perspective of the experience. And to do that, you need to listen. And one of the ways that you can listen is through surveys. There are several rules of thumb, however, before you start to survey. Number one, be certain that you have a plan of action for dealing with the feedback before you ever start the survey process. Who will own the feedback? Who will collect and gather the feedback? Who will ensure that the feedback is not forgotten and is worked into improving your process? Rule number two, start small. See rule number one. It can be overwhelming if you ask your entire customer base for feedback. Now, know that feedback usually does come in small percentages of your base, but that's not guaranteed. You may find that you have a very engaged customer base, or a lot of people who have some pent-up anger about their service, and you might get surprisingly high rates of response to your survey. So if you sent out 300 surveys and 30 of them came back with negative feedback, how quickly can you respond? Start small. You might seriously want to send 10 or 15 surveys, so that if you got a little bit of negative feedback in every single one of them, you would be able to handle it. Rule number three, make certain that you deal with any negative feedback within a business day at the latest. Ideally, it's even faster than that if you can, but be responsive to the negative and be ready with a plan for more listening. Rule number four, randomly select your customers. Don't know how to do that? Let Excel do it for you. There's a link in the description on how you can do that through Excel. Random selection is key because you may have a tendency to pick people you know like you. Rule number four, use vetted questions. That means don't start from scratch. There are plenty of survey questions out there that have been vetted, and this is an important aspect because answers need to be mutually exclusive. They need to be easily understood by all different people. Don't start from scratch. Use a platform that has the questions or find vetted questions. Have someone else take the survey. Ensure that the experience is positive. We certainly don't want to be looking for how people perceive your customer experience with a negative experience of surveying. And finally, remember that people who answer surveys are often the people who are angry or maybe extremely happy. So surveying is just one way to get feedback from your customers and start to understand the perspective they have on the experience. Tune in next week for more ways to understand your customer experience.